Jefferson County Court Law number 2 is back in session in cause number 330960, case is style, State of Texas versus Daniel James Leatherwood. Mr. Leatherwood previously was sworn in, and Mr. Leatherwood's attorney, Mr. John West, is waiving a record in Mr. Leatherwood's case. Again, Mr. Leatherwood, I have before me a document that is titled Information that was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. This document alleges that on or about October 1st of 2021, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of criminal trespassing. Mr. Leatherwood, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Mr. Leatherwood, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
Now, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Leatherwood, I have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment. On page 1 of this document, there's one box that's checked stating that this is a Class B misdemeanor. And the range of punishment is confinement in jail for a term not to exceed 180 days of a fine not to exceed $2,000 of both such confinement and fine. Do you understand the range of punishment?
Yes, sir.
And on page 2 of this document, there are a set of initials DL that are on a line, which is next to a box that's checked guilty. Mr. Leatherwood, did you place your initials DL on this document?
Yes, sir.
And on the next page of the same document, there is a signature above the line that is titled Defendant. Mr. Leatherwood, did you also sign this document?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Leatherwood, on the next page, or on the next document rather, that is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, there's a signature at the bottom of this document, also above the line that's titled Defendant. Did you also sign this document?
Yes, sir.
At the top of this same document, Mr. Leatherwood, there are 2 boxes that are checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box that's checked states that you are waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Leatherwood, did you sign a document out there on paper that is titled Discovery Certification?
Yes, sir, I have.
Now, Mr. Leatherwood, before you signed and initialed all of these documents that I have just mentioned to you, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything that he went over?
I did, Your Honor.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir, they are.
Mr. Leatherwood, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer State's Exhibit number 1?
Yes, Your Honor. State offer states 1.
No objection.
Any objection? No objection. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. West, you've advised and counseled Mr. Leatherwood. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Leatherwood, your attorney, Mr. West, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir, I am.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Leatherwood, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
Your Honor, in exchange for defendant's plea of guilty in this case, the state is recommending confinement in Jefferson County Jail for a period of 9 days. The state is asking that the court give defendant credit for the 9 days previously spent in jail, making this a time-served plea agreement, Your Honor. And the state is also asking that the court use defendant's time served to both tax and retire the court costs.
Mr. Leatherwood, the state is offering that you serve 9 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve any more time in the Jefferson County Jail in this case, because the time that you spent in jail will be given to you as credit for time served. The court costs in this case is $387, but you would not have to pay the $387 because the time that you spent in the jail has already paid it off. Therefore, the court costs will be taxed and retired. Mr. Leatherwood, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
I do, sir.
Mr. Leatherwood, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Leatherwood, if this is your only case and you do not have anything else holding you in jail, you should be getting out of jail today.
All right.
Mr. Leatherwood, this will conclude your case. Please follow the bailiff, and you have a blessed day.
You too. Thank you, Your Honor. And that to the bailiff and open the door and tell him the next one. Thank you, man. All right.
It's Roberto Davila.
Who you want next?
Roberto Davila.
Davila. Davila.
That document. There's a documentary.
Oh,
The pen
Okay,
up here, sign it, please. That's the other document we have to sign that I didn't have yesterday. Says defendant right there above my signature. Yeah, right there. Okay, just put the pen back over here and that's it.
okay, the court is in session and calls number 328924. The case is styled the state of Texas versus Roberta Davila. Mr. Davila is appearing via Zoom. Mr. Davila, is that your full name?
Yes, sir. Roberto Davila.
Okay, how are you doing, Mr. Davila?
Doing fine, Your Honor. How about yourself?
I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. Mr. Davila, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Davila, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Sir.
Mr. Davila, you may put your hand down. Mr. Davila, you're here represented by your attorney John West. Attorney West, do you waive a record in Mr. Davila's case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Davila, I have before me a document that is titled information. This information has been filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. This information alleges that on or about December 19th of 2020, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, operating a motor vehicle in a public place, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated. Mr. Davila, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to discharge Mr. Davila, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? Guilty? Now, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty? Are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, Mr. Davila, I have before me a document that is titled misdemeanor plea admonishments. And now, Mr. West, I'm looking at this document on page 1. It's just a Class B misdemeanor check. It should be a DWI first Class B.
Oh, I'm sorry, Your Honor. I checked the wrong box.
Okay, do I have your permission to correct that?
Yes, Your Honor, yes.
Okay. Now, Mr. Davila, okay, now, Mr. Davila, you entered a plea of guilty to the Class B misdemeanor offense of DWI, right?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. What was that?
Did you enter a plea of guilty to the offense of driving while intoxicated?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, Mr. Davila, as I stated earlier, I have a document before me that is titled misdemeanor plea admonishments, and which is also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. I made a correction on this document, and I'll state what the correction is. Now, the range of punishment is what a correction was made for this offense, and it reads, driving while intoxicated, DWI first, Class B misdemeanor confinement in jail for at least 72 hours, but not to exceed 180 days, a fine not to exceed $2,000, or both such fine and confinement. Do you understand the range of punishment for a Class B misdemeanor DWI?
Yes, sir.
And on page 2 of this same document, there are a set of initials, R or D, that are on a line next to a box that's checked guilty. Did you place your initials R or D on this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 3 of this same document, there is a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Mr. Davila, did you sign this document?
Yes, sir.
On the next page of the same document, well, on the next document rather, that's titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, there's a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Did you also sign this document?
Yes, Judge.
And at the top of this same document, there are 2 boxes that are checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargaining case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign a document out there on paper that is titled Discovery Certification?
Yes, sir, I did.
Now, Mr. Davila, before you signed and initialed all of these documents that I have just mentioned to you, did your attorney, Mr. West, go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir. Down to the last period.
And did you read and understand everything that he went over?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Davila, are you a citizen of the United States?
I am.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, like to offer State's Exhibit number 1?
Yes, Your Honor. State offer states 1.
No
Any-
objection.
No objections. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. West, you advise and counsel Mr. Davila, is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Davila, your attorney, Mr. West, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Davila, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. And I will also find that your plea and waivers was freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
In exchange for defendant's plea of guilty in this case, Your Honor, the state is recommending that the court defer finding of guilt at this time and ask that the court place the defendant on community supervision for a period of 1 year, require defendant to pay a $1,000 fine, to complete 60 hours of community service, and for the standard DWI probation conditions to include a DWI education course, drug and alcohol assessment, and an interlock device, Your Honor.
Okay, now, this offense occurred on or after September 1st of 2019. Mr. Davila, I need to ask you a question. Do you have a regular driver's license or do you have a commercial driver's license?
I had a regular driver's license.
Okay, now, Mr. Davila, well, state, what was the BAC in this case?
1 second here, Your Honor.
Okay.
Your Honor, one second, sorry. Can't find where. Your Honor, the BAC was 0.114.
Okay, 0.114. Okay, that's all I need to know.
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Davila, the state is offering that you serve 1 year deferred adjudicated probation. During this 1 year probationary period, you will be required to pay a fine of $1,000 plus court costs of $592. The total fine and court cost is $1,592. Need his affidavit again, yes. You will also be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month, a urinalysis fee of $15 each month. You'll be required to pay the Jefferson County DWI education class and initial evaluation fee of $125 on the day of the plea. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $50. Now, your total monthly installments, that is the total amount that you will be required to pay while you are on probation each month, is $220 a month. Mr. Davila, will you be able to pay the $220 each month? You have to
Sir.
speak up. What did you say?
Yes, sir.
All right. You'll also be required to perform 60 hours of community service. You'll also be required to attend and complete the DWI education class and have a drug and alcohol assessment. And you'll be required to install an interlock device on any vehicle that you own or operate.
I got
And
a
you will-
question.
Hold on a minute. And you'll also be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of your probation. Do you understand the conditions of probation? Now, is your question concerning the conditions of probation? So,
Yeah. It's because I move a lot. I move a lot because of work. And
well, you could, I mean, as far, you can discuss that with a probation officer.
oh, okay.
I think, okay. Now, Mr. Davila, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay, Mr. Davila, I will follow the plea bargain agreement. The court will defer a finding of guilt in this case and place you on unadjudicated probation or deferred probation with the terms and conditions that the court has previously announced. Now, Mr. Davila, on violation of a condition of deferred adjudication community supervision imposed under Article 42A.104, you, the defendant, may be arrested and detained as provided in Article 42A.751. Now, you'll be entitled to a hearing limited to determination of the court whether the court will proceed with an adjudication of guilt on the original charge. The court may not proceed with an adjudication of guilt on the original charge if the court finds that the only evidence supporting the alleged violation of a condition of deferred adjudication community supervision is the uncorroborated result of a polygraph exam. The determination to proceed with an adjudication of guilt on the original charge is reviewable in the same manner as a revocation hearing conducted under Article 42A, 751D in a case in which the adjudication was not deferred. Now, Mr. Davila, if you successfully complete your probationary period, this case may be dismissed. It would not result in a conviction on your record, and you may qualify for non-disclosure. You can talk to your attorney about the non-disclosure because he's quite competent in those matters. Now, Mr. Davila, this will conclude your case. Please follow the bailiff, and you have a blessed day.
Likewise, Your Honor, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hand that to the bailiff. Yeah.
Next person is Jorge Flores Hernandez.
Flores.
Who's the attorney on that one, Your Honor? That's not mine.
Oh, no. Oh, that's not yours. Okay. We're gonna have to get hold on a minute.
Who's the attorney? They might be here.
Okay, hold on a minute. That's Rojas.
Let's see. Just Mr. Burbank here and me. So no.
Okay. Mr. Flores,
Yes, sir.
would you please get the bailiff to come back in that room?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, get Phyllis Gibson. Phyllis Gibson.
Okay, y'all done with Flores?
No,
That's not
no.
mine. That's Mr.
Kurtz is not there.
Rojas. He's not here yet.
Yes.
And you know, some of them did this.
Yes. The pen right there, sign where it says defendant.
Where?
Oh, open the pen up. Somebody closed it. The pen, you need to open the pen.
Oh.